The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to Ridiculousness. I'm Rob Dyrdek, and as always, we have Stilo Brim and Chanel West Coast.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I don't know what just happened. That was...
What is happening
I
right
don't
now?
know. What? Who am I? What?
Stilo Brim and Chanel West Coast. Or we can
Chanel
flip it if you guys
Coast.
want.
West Coast Chanel.
I'll be Chanel.
No.
Welcome, friends and family, to the Periodic Review. My name's Alakai, or Kai, or Alaska, or Jesus, whatever you want to call me.
Hey you guy.
Hey you, that guy. In front of me, we have Jacob Rhyme.
J Rhymes.
James J. Rhymes. And then on my left, on your right, we have Rianne Rhymes.
Hi.
Hey.
I,
Hey girl, hey.
Oh my gosh, hey girl, hey.
Hey girl,
Hey.
hey.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my god, the other day we were at the beach.
Oh my gosh, that makes me think of the freaking A Little Bit Alexis. La 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 la.
A little bit of Lexus.
I gotta go watch that episode then. I freaking love that. That's one of my favorite scenes of all time.
What show? What am I missing? What show?
Schitt's Creek?
Oh, yeah, I've only seen a few episodes of that. Yeah.
Alakai.
Dude, I was having the same conversation with two people this week, actually. I have not... There are a lot of shows and a lot of movies that I have not seen, and every time I mention them, I get so much shit for it. Like, I haven't seen Tangled, I haven't seen Princess and the Frog, I haven't seen Megamind, I haven't seen Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, you're not missing much with any of those.
I haven't seen Schitt's Creek. I haven't seen Parks and Rec.
Those two are so good. They're two of my favorites.
What else have I not seen? I haven't seen, like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine or...
I haven't seen that either. I've seen
I've heard
some
that one's
episodes.
good.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's okay. I mean,
Is
it wasn't like a, oh my god, it's so great. But it was like, hey, this is pretty funny.
Well, and it's good for like certain one-liners, like that cool, whatever that Jacob and his brother do.
See, the Office is always going to be like my thing for humor. Like I quote that show so much.
If you like The Office, you'll like Parks and Rec.
I've heard, but I'm loyal. So.
It's the same creator. Dude, okay, so we have The Office. Then we had Parks and Rec about like government, city, small town city government,
Which is also hilarious.
which is funny. And I'm thinking now, for one of my marketing things for work, I'm gonna have a 501c3. It talks about nonprofits. It's the life of a nonprofit, like a mockumentary.
I have there's a classmate of mine that is like wanting to go into like filmmaking and documentary stuff for
Oh my
communications.
gosh!
I'll have to tell him that that's what you're wanting to do, and I'll be like, let's get a camera crew and go.
It is trademarked, though. It is trademarked. Like I am copywriting it right here and now. I'm saying
absolutely.
if it comes out, if somebody does it, I'm like gonna be like, that was my idea.
I wouldn't do it unless you were like the top producer on
Okay.
it. So.
Because I tell you what, like that shit would be freaking hilarious.
I'd watch it.
Oh, it would be so funny. Oh my gosh. And having to deal with like federal and state grantors, and then having to like people like donating nasty used underwear to like just the most random crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people just donating their garbage, basically.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I'm sorry. Like, what makes you, like, if you don't want your nasty, dirty underwear, what makes you think a survivor of domestic violence would love to receive that?
Allegedly.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
That's a you problem.
That was the Spider-Man 3 quote.
You know,
think.
somebody said I was actively like trying to post on some stuff on YouTube a while back, and I was just like, yeah, and like gas prices are so expensive, and somebody commented on my comment and said, sounds like a you problem. I'm like, okay.
That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, it's a you problem if gas is too expensive for you. It's like,
dude, have you
okay.
seen gas prices out in like Tennessee, like where the east is? It's like a little over $2.
No.
Yeah, but their cost of living is down. It's always been low in those states because like their like median income for the area is like
decent.
30,000.
I'm moving over there. I'm moving to the east.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, where you can buy our same house, I can't talk, for the same amount of square footage of house that we have right now, we could probably buy it for half as much, like cost half as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but their property taxes are high.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's what they say out in Texas. They say like, yeah, housing is, cheaper out there, but man, your property tax is expensive. So what just happened? Are you okay, Rianne?
I think Rianne jumped on Reddit before
No.
we could.
she's watching TikToks.
No. So, okay, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Green Mile.
The Green Mile. Is
Tom
that
Hanks.
the one about the... Oh, yeah.
Death Row,
Yeah.
The Green Mile. Yeah. So Michael Clark Duncan, the guy who played the gifted guy, the big dude, right? He died a while ago. Anyway, I just came up on a picture that is like an animated version of him sitting in a cell with with Mr. Jingles, the little mouse.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me it kind of was like, oh. And now I want to watch The Green Mile again and sob.
Oh.
Are you talking about Michael Duncan?
I think I'm all cried
Michael-
out for this last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I feel like I could do a little bit more, but...
Yeah. Speaking of famous actors passing away, do you guys hear about Hagrid?
Yes.
I did not.
Oh, the man.
This morning I saw it and I was like, what?
Yeah, I read about it last night, and I was... yeah.
What was his name?
Robbie Coltrane?
Yeah, that's right.
Angela Lansbury died on October 11th.
Yeah, but she
Who's
was like
that?
93 or something like that.
Angela Lansbury, she
was
Sound
the
of
voice
Music.
of Mrs.
She
Potts
was
in The Beauty and the Beast.
Oh. Guess what? I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast either.
Coolio.
The first one?
Coolio passed
The
away.
animated?
Yep. Nope.
Coolio?
Yeah, Coolio passed away this month. Or not this month, sorry, September.
Did you guys hear that the Queen died?
Yeah.
That's late news, but...
Yeah, everybody knows about that.
I was like, what?
Dude, okay, so the day that the Queen died at work, everybody made memes about it in our group chat. And I was like...
Really? Huh.
I was like, okay, part of me is like... I'm not going to lie, the memes were actually kind of funny. But at the same time, I was like, yo, this is a fresh wound, guys.
That is kind of fresh.
Anyways.
We're in a weird area where people don't really understand, like, how to be civil anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And just be kind because it's important to be kind. You know what I mean? It's like the computers, like the screen gives you that barrier, and it's like you don't really know or take into consideration the people on the other side.
The first iPhone and iPod Touch came out in 2007. In 2007, I was 10. So for a lot of kids that were my age growing up, that's the kind of culture that we grew up with, was because technology was advancing at such a fast rate.
Yeah.
That's what we've grown up with now. And it's become so normalized. It's like we're not really turning to people anymore. We're turning to the screen. So
yeah. Well,
That's so
and
crazy.
humor has also been a coping mechanism for people, and
Mhm.
so
100%.
that's why people do the memes. That's why they make fun of. I'm sure Gilbert Gottfried got a lot of memes when he passed away.
Man.
Like
Good
he
old
was such an
Gilbert.
iconic comedian, as well as like Bob Saget and a lot of other individuals that passed away recently.
You guys see that bit where Gilbert Gottfried did a rating of 50 Shades of Grey?
Yes.
It's brilliant.
No.
Dear
It's
God.
brilliant.
Honestly,
When he flicks my clitoris.
Oh gosh, I
I
can't.
can hear his voice.
Oh.
Man. He was also the voice of Iago in Aladdin.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that one?
I saw Aladdin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aladdin's a good movie. Yeah. Oh man.
Damn it, Disney! Why do you make us love you and then you drop the ball?
Yeah.
More so, I shouldn't say
Yeah.
lately. I mean, they were definitely not. I mean, they were definitely had issues back in the day.
Well, the work ethic
with
from what
kid stuff, but
it just seems like their work ethics have just changed. Like
yeah, no more new original stuff. It's all like rehashing of the past. And
it definitely feels like instead of caring about people and like wanting to provide good stories for families, and just overall good morals, they're now just kind of pushing for the next big thing in entertainment because
Yeah.
they're such a huge business now and they own everything. So it's
they've bought up so many IPs in the last 10
like
years.
Marvel, Fox, Star Wars, Avatar,
Shit,
like
yeah.
everything, dude.
Anything huge, they've just gobbled up.
The monopoly, my guy.
I know, right? Well, and part of that is because of the issues that they had with all these companies back in the day when who was in office at the time? I think it was Bill Clinton. So basically, there was probably about 40 or 50 or so different like production companies and like different like studios and stuff like that. And basically, what happened, from what I understand, is that there was a federal thing that came into play and basically said that they all had to sell to a handful of like larger companies. And so people like 20th Century, Fox, like what's the one with the lady with the torch? Which one was that one? Columbia.
Yeah.
So all these big, huge companies basically gobbled up all the little ones, and they went down to like maybe 7 or 10 different industries and studios, all through like done by the government. So this was back, I want to say in the 2000s sometime. I'd have to look it up, but anyways,
I don't know.
I don't remember why I was going with that. Continue on. I apologize.
We brought up Disney. And just,
Oh, Disney, yeah. So Disney was
Dude.
one of those powerhouses that kept a lot of their stuff, and they just basically kept gobbling up more stuff as they got bigger.
Yeah.
So
You know what? I'm actually I didn't think that I was going to be excited for it, but it looks like a pretty fun show. Wednesday Addams on Netflix.
Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wednesday
The
from
Addams
Addams Family.
Family.
Yeah, it actually looks like a fun show. Like,
Hmm.
I'm actually kind of excited for it. I think I'll watch that.
I haven't seen the previews for it. I haven't seen it at all.
The Addams Family.
But I know Addams Family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Addams Family has been around like forever. So
Mhm. Yeah, it looks like fun. I think I'll definitely watch it.
okay.
I heard the 3rd season of Lock and Key came out, and I still haven't watched that. But
It's
And it's
the
the final.
final.
I've heard, yeah.
It's so sad. Like, and the thing about it too is that like it was supposed to be kind of like a kids show, and it kind of got
Really dark.
I thought it got a little bit darker for a kids show, in my opinion. The bad guys were just not that great. They were like supposed to be these evil people, but they're just like, it turns out they're just all bad adults.
I mean,
and they
that's
and
most stuff
the
now.
fight sequences, quote unquote, they're so goofy. But I mean, overall, like outside of that, it was actually a very interesting show, and I think the concept behind it and the thematics behind it with the key house and the keys and
Mhm.
the way that the magic works within their world was actually very interesting, and it definitely saved a lot of the it definitely begged the question if it was okay to overlook some of the more bad nuanced stuff that was put in it. So I mean, I definitely would give it above average for sure.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely fell in love with the first 2 seasons, and then I heard the third season was out, I was like, no. And then I heard that it was the finale, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna watch it now. Because I was having this conversation this morning with someone very close to me. Like, we both have this thing where, like, whenever something ends, we don't want to finish it because then it's not there anymore.
Right.
That's kind of how I was with Stranger Things, because I kind of assumed that the fourth season was going to be the last season, and then they were like, just kidding, it's 2 parts. Just kidding, we're going to have a 5th season now. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
Because it did so well. Because they were like losing viewers.
Because if it's making money, though.
Yeah, like if it's making money, they're gonna keep producing it. The thing is that they were losing viewership, somewhere around the end season 2, season 3, and so they're kind of skeptical. And so when they finally, after all the coof stuff like started to subside and things started to open up again, and they finally brought it out, and how it was, I would probably say on par with season 1. Like, it was that good. And they saw the viewership from it, they were like, all right, we'll throw in another season.
Yeah. My favorite seasons are seasons 1 and 4.
Yep.
For
same.
sure. 2 and 3 are fine. Like, they're okay. They work. But
they're
like,
forgettable.
Yeah.
I think they're forgettable, which is sad because, like, I know the finale of season 3 because that's where Max is introduced, right?
2.
Yeah,
2. Yeah, 2, because I remember Billy was like a huge deal.
Yeah, her brother.
Yeah, and
then I don't remember season 3 at all.
So season 2, Billy and Max were introduced.
Yeah.
In season 3, Billy became possessed, and that was his whole story.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was all one season.
No, it was 2 seasons. Because season 2, Billy was just this menace to the kids and that whole crew. Yeah. And then he got in that fight with Steve, and Max tranquilized him, you remember?
Yeah, see, I got to go back, and the only thing I remember in those 2 seasons is I felt bad for the actors, the kid actors, because they literally had to have their first kiss, like their first kiss on screen.
Yeah.
And I just think how awful.
It's kind of sad, yeah.
Like, I mean, to have that kind of taken from you, but then, like, it's caught on film forever, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's just,
you could see, like, you can tell, like, that emotion between Max and Lucas, those 2 actors. You can see that connection was legit, and that they were kind of like, whoa, like, this, yeah.
So anyway, that's the only thing I really remember about those 2 seasons. But I really liked season 4.
Season 4 was phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's because it brought in a whole...
It came full circle.
And it was a whole level of storytelling on top of... Like, it was and it brought things together. I loved the fact that it brought a whole new story into play.
You understand, like, who the rest of the numbers are.
Yeah.
And, like, why, like, number 1 isn't really talked about and who number 1 is.
Right.
So,
and it was
I loved how they did that.
And I think it was less of a teenage drama that they were trying to portray, like, going from, season 2 and season 3. And they kind of went back to the whole horror genre and went back. I'm sure they went back and rewatched season 1. And they're like, yeah, we need to get back to our roots here.
It kind of felt like, because remember season 1 was like that, almost kind of family friendly. Like, the show was made for families to watch together. And then, like, season 4, it was still, like, it was that again, but, like, they definitely understood that so much time has passed by that the kids that watched it had grown up. So, and
the dynamic, right? There's a dynamic that, like, how friendships change and how our relationships change in that time of life, because there's a whole different level of interest on different levels. And I will say it again, I thought the scene between Will and his brother
his name
in the kitchen of the thing,
Will and Jonathan.
That was like,
that was so heart-wrenching.
That scene, I freaking it was so good. I love Will. He's like, I love him. Yeah. And the other one bugs me, Mike. I don't like him. He bugs me.
He's become a little less relevant
now. He's a little
now.
shit. Sorry.
Okay, but Finn, the actor, is great. He does a phenomenal job in everything.
Yeah,
everything that
the
I've seen him in.
The character.
Yeah.
I do not like the character.
They did him pretty dirty. Yeah.
So, my new favorite. I think the other thing is they brought in some different characters, like the whole Russian thing.
I thought that was fine.
It is fine, but it's like I'm not. I don't know. Like it's forgettable, but
okay. But the end when you see Hopper and Elle reunite, that was.
Yeah, that was good. That was amazing. But I love the Indian friend.
He had a really interesting name. We brought up his name last.
Yes, and I can't remember to save my
life.
life. I just think of I call it
the pizza guy.
The pizza guy. Because it was so funny because every time he was high, he was like chill and came up with all the solutions, but when he wasn't high, he was like freaking out.
Yeah.
I thought it was so funny. I mean, just that I love that character. He's my favorite new character in the series. And I hope they keep him because I know he's B, but he's like the B character, but I freaking love him. He's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those very pivotal second tier characters that you definitely want to see in the next season for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this
Spooky.
off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're like. I'm just now looking at the time, and we're like 20 minutes in, and we haven't even gotten into the stories yet. So.
Okay.
But it works
fine.
really well because Stranger Things is a horror teen drama.
Yeah.
And it is pretty spooky, so it'll go right into what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So I figured for this episode, since we are in the month of Halloween,
All Hallows Eve.
I will say Halloween is like one of my favorite holidays. It definitely tops Christmas for me.
You know what? That is so weird because like literally everybody at my work, everybody, except for me, everybody loves Halloween. I mean, I like Halloween, but I don't love Halloween. You know what I mean? It's not like my favorite. But that is like a real thing with people because everybody I work with is your age, Alex.
See, I think it's just because like we're more of like an edgy kind of crew at this age with the millennial Gen Z. That might be it. So anytime we have an opportunity to watch something that's horror or spooky related, we're kind of like, okay, all about it. Before I go into reading the stories to you guys and so we can talk about them, I wanted to ask you two if you had any spooky, scary experiences or stories yourselves that you wanted to share or talk about. And if not, I know that's okay. I know I'm just now coming out of the blue and asking, but just out of curiosity.
We have a couple.
I don't have any. So
I have a couple.
I don't have like any experiences or spooky, scary.
Well, I went ghost hunting once.
How was that?
Oh goodness.
It was creepy. We have pictures of like so we went to a mausoleum, ironically the mausoleum that my grandma was buried in. And we had like the EKG or the little
EMF readers,
whatever. Yeah, that crap and everything. But we snapped some pictures and we got pictures of some orbs and stuff. And then there was this one like hallway and the guy who took us on the tour said, "You can't go down that one." And we're like, "Why?" And he's like, "Well, you can, but I guarantee you won't go home alone." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's a direct portal to the underside."
Holy shit.
And I was like, "What the fuck?"
How do you know?
Because like he started walking down there like in the EMF stuff, and like he would take psychics and stuff. So according to the psychics, it was a portal to the underside or whatever the other side.
Did he take like multiple clairvoyant?
Oh yeah, okay. Like he would do tours like that. Like he made a living doing that.
Okay, yeah, it's like whenever like I hear one person say, "Oh yeah, like it's the portal to hell." Okay, I need to hear multiple people that are clairvoyant and in tune with this.
Yeah.
Say it.
Well, and like it's really interesting because when we're in there, all the lights are off, so all your your senses are heightened and everything. Mm-hmm. And just like you're kind of there and you know what you're looking for, so you're making yourself aware of the other side or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like it did feel creepy. I'm not gonna lie, like the hair started standing up on the back of my neck, like because we were like nuh-uh, and then we took a few steps down because we were edgy. And
that's funny.
And like we kind of got the willies. We were like, yeah, never mind, and it could have been us just being like freaking ourselves out or whatever, but I've had enough experiences to know it was probably, there's shiz. Anyway, so it was after we walked past that's when we were snapping pictures just randomly, and my friend felt like a big chunk of hair was being pulled up like this. It was like this big. It was so creepy. And we got a picture of that. So that was weird.
That's wild.
Huh.
Damn.
That was weird. So, and then like I remember when we were getting in the car, our tour guy was like, "Okay, now before we go or get in the car, you need to tell everything and everyone that they are not welcome to go home with you and that they need to stay here." And we're
I remember you telling this.
Yeah.
We were talking about this in our paranormal episode.
And it was just like, okay, and he's like, and you do it in the name of Jesus Christ. And I was like, okay. And it's like you do a spiritual energy cleanse. Anyway, so we did that. And then we went back and we psyched ourselves out a lot. We looked at the pictures and we, all that stuff. That was one of the more fun experiences I've had. There's been a couple others that are really freaky, to the point where I had like clergy come over and bless the house. But that was back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it was that creepy kind of an experience.
What about you, Jacob? You got any?
I do. You want me to tell a couple of mine?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. So, y'all might remember the one from the last kind of paranormal episode that we talked about, but
I don't remember talking about
this is when, we talked about ghosts and stuff like that, spirits and such. So I was a security guard. I was a chief of security, so my job was to go around to the different construction sites, and I had to work at night. So I'd work from like 10 to like 6 a.m. or something like that. And on this particular site, this was out, I don't remember where, but it was out past Mesa, out in Arizona. And it was a new preparatory school that was being built, and there wasn't supposed to be anybody on the site, just the one person that was watching everything. And so I went over to check on them, make sure they were doing their paperwork, doing their hourly walkthroughs and stuff like that. And as we were talking, I looked over to see, I thought I saw something. And sure enough, it was like it looked like one of those classic shadow people. Like it looked like the shape of a person.
Ew.
And it looked like they were looking out through the window. Like it was the only light on, like on the whole site. Like you looked through this big picture window, and it looked like they were just looking. And then they turned, and then walked out through the doorway that was in the building. And I was like, all right, maybe I should say a little prayer, because that was kind of freaky. I don't know what it was. It could have been a trick of the lights. It could have been my imagination. I mean, who knows what it was? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Wow.
But that was pretty freaky. An earlier time, I don't believe I talked about this the last time we talked about paranormal stuff, but this was while I was a missionary. Out in West Virginia, and it was one of those times where I guess I felt the most spiritual and stuff like that. I felt like I was, understood it more, I guess I should say. And I don't think I dreamt this. I'm pretty sure I was awake. But I just remember waking up in the middle of the night, which I normally do every once in a while, to go to the bathroom. And I just felt like it felt like somebody had both of their hands on my chest and kind of pushing me like into my bed. But there was nobody else there.
Oh.
And I couldn't get up and I couldn't move.
Is that like sleep paralysis, or did it feel?
It might have been.
Else?
I mean, I could have been awake. It could have been asleep, but I could have sworn I was awake. Like I was woken up in the middle of the night. And it just felt like somebody was holding me to my bed. But I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't move my legs or anything. I was just like, what the heck? So, yeah. Yeah. It was spooky.
Wow. Now I'm jealous of you guys. I don't have any like spooky, scary stories like that. Summer of 2021, I went with a couple of friends up to Navajo Lake to go and look for skinwalkers in the middle of the night.
That sounds like fun.
No.
Yeah, we went to go look for skinwalkers in the middle of the night.
What the hell?
And didn't find anything, so we just ended
Good.
up...
I would kill you.
So we just ended up going skinny dipping in the lake.
Oh.
So, like,
I would have done that.
Good times.
That's fun.
Okay. Any other stories you guys want to share before we move on to
Jacob,
Reddit?
Have you
Those are
ever
the two
skinny
that I can
dipped?
think of. No, I've never skinny dipped.
Oh my gosh. That's going to be we're doing that. We are so going to do that.
It's liberating.
It is one of the best. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're so doing that. Okay, sorry. That was a side note, but that's going on the bucket list.
Bucket list? All right. You got it.
Bucket list.
Go skinny dipping.
With my honey. Oh, dude. Because that was the best. Yep, we're going skinny dipping.
Good times.
Sorry.
Good times.
Tangent. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's Reddit.
All right, let's move on to Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a few stories from Reddit. I want to just keep in mind, these stories are pretty old. They're from like 8 years ago.
Okay.
Excuse me, I had a burp. Sparkling water's getting to me. But some of these I haven't read all of these. So some of them I'm going in like having already read them. Some of them I have not read yet. So some of them we're going in blind. I haven't, because this is Reddit, I just want to throw out like a little trigger warning just in case. Because I know sometimes Reddit can get kind of gnarly. So just heads up with that.
Okay.
Okay, so this first one is from a deleted person. So I don't know who it was exactly. Okay. But the question that they posted on Reddit was, Reddit, what is your most disturbing, scary, or creepy real stories? So this first one is, a few years ago, I was walking through the woods off the beaten track a bit, and I smelled this really overpowering sweet smell. Being nosy, I pulled back the undergrowth to have a look and found a dead body. The guy had clearly been there a while and was looking great, all swollen and green and black with various runny bits. The local wildlife had also been dining well for a few days. I called the police, who had told me to wait with the body until they arrived. Being in the middle of a nowhere, it took a while for them to arrive, and it got dark, and I just sat there in the dark with him for a long time. It turned out he had committed suicide. For a long time afterwards, I had dreams about him, and he would talk to me and say not nice things. Mainly about how he was angry I had disturbed his resting place, and he wanted me to kill myself. Probably just my imagination, but all pretty disturbing at that time. He still turns up in my dreams from time to time, and no doubt will be tonight after typing this.
Ew. That's weird.
You know, it's really interesting when you read stuff like this. Sometimes it triggers other memories. Mm-hmm. And so I have another story.
Okay.
But I'm sure we want to comment on this.
Well,
this particular story.
I mean, okay, question for you guys. Have either of you ever like seen or been around a dead body?
Dead relatives, yeah, but not like off a beaten path in the middle of the woods.
I guess, yeah. Context is pretty important for that. Have you ever seen a dead body that wasn't someone that you knew?
No.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel blessed that we live in a country where we just don't have like dead people lining the sides of the road and stuff like that. Or just people just being, anyways, I feel blessed. # blessed.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this one because I know it's like pretty
Gnarly.
So yeah. But my question is like, it smelled sweet.
A really
Like, at the
overpowering
beginning,
sweet smell.
I smelt this really. Yeah. I was like, wait.
Well, I don't know what a decomposing body smells like, so I mean, maybe that was the only way they could describe it because they'd never smelled it before.
Or maybe they have a real effed up olfactory.
Because I've smelled like rotting
System.
meat, and rotting meat does not smell
No,
good.
there ain't no.
Nope.
Sweet
But I
smell
know,
about that.
but I know there's a. But from what I understand, of course, I don't know, but I'm assuming that rotting human flesh, especially a body that's been decomposing for a while, has a different smell.
Ew.
I would just assume.
Ew.
And as well as you release all of your like body fluids as
You
well.
poop your pants.
Yes, you do. You never.
Oh my gosh.
You said that
Okay. I can't.
You said that you had a story though to go with this.
So okay, it wasn't a dead body, but it was a pretty gnarly story. So, back in Phoenix, I was living on my own, and I was working for an IT company at the time. I was starting to get ready to start working towards my test to get like Microsoft, like business server, like certifications and stuff like that. I was kind of going focus more into that. And I had a really cool boss and really cool people to work with, and they're just like, yeah, anytime you want to just, chill here and play video games after work, you could. So I did. Like, I started, streaming and stuff like that. And one of these particular nights, I was out pretty late. I lost track of time, so it was about like, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I was driving home down Grand Avenue, which I normally did at night. And I heard while I was driving, while we were coming up to this red light, I heard a thump. And I turned like to look like in my rear view mirror and then my side view mirror. And all I could see was this large black Ram truck hit a person, and they kind of toppled over and was rolling down the street.
Wow.
And I was just like, what in the hell? So I pull over, and the guy obviously, he stops and he comes back. Apparently there was a homeless guy toting around a large black trash can, all dressed in black, of course. The guy didn't see him, just plowed right into him, unfortunately. The guy was breathing, but there was like blood coming out of his ears. So I just immediately walked over there. I was just like, I don't know what to do in this situation. So I called 911, and they're just like, okay, well, what's going on right now? I was like, is he bleeding or anything? I'm like, yeah, it looks like he's bleeding out of his ears. He's like, okay, is he breathing? And I'm like, yes, he's breathing. Like, okay, so we don't want you to do any CPR. We just want you just to wait until we get there. And I was like, okay, no problem. So, this guy was unconscious the whole time. The police arrived, the fire department, paramedics. They had a helicopter overhead, the spotlight on us. I don't even know if it made the news. Like, I would have to like go back and look and see. And it was just crazy. Like, I was just like, I've never witnessed something like this before. It was really terrifying for me. But I felt really bad about the guy. As far as I know, I called the hospital or whatever afterwards. I was just like, hey, there's a guy that was admitted in the middle of the night last night. I was just curious, is he okay? They're like, well, we can't really divulge any information. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay. I'm like, that's fine. They're like, but what we can tell you is that he survived. I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, that's probably the closest I've ever witnessed somebody almost getting killed. Like, that was a rough night.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So that was gnarly.
Wow.
That was gnarly to witness, but
Yeah, good on you for getting on it and calling 911. right away.
Surprisingly, I kept myself together until after I got home and was trying to go to sleep, and all I could see was this guy bleeding out of his ears. Yeah, like I broke down because
what
I was
an
just
image.
Like, yeah, like that was a rough night. Like my mom came in because they were already asleep. Like I was living at my parents' house at the time. Actually, I wasn't living at my own. I was living at my parents' house at the time. And yeah, I was. They thought I had a bad dream.
Dang.
Because that's happened in the past. Like I just like all of a sudden just would be crying in the middle of the night sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a creepy one.
Yeah.
Then the second one that we have is even more creepy.
Oh, great.
It's not like there's no suicide in this one, so it's just eerie.
Is this the one that starts with about 2 years ago?
Yep. So about 2 years ago, I was driving home from a family reunion pretty late at night, and the drive was about 2 hours. I didn't stay the night because I had to be back for work the following day. Most of the drive was on roads with dense bushes and trees on either side. The real creepy ones you see a lot in movies. Anyway, I had been driving for about 45 minutes, and I was starting to get really tired. You know how sometimes you just suddenly become really tired out of nowhere? Well, yeah, that happened to me. I knew I wasn't going to last, but I didn't come across any place that I felt I could park and safely sleep. Anyway, after it became clear to me that I wasn't going to find a place to pull up, and my tiredness wasn't going away, I did something very questionable. I pulled over to the side of the road onto the grass behind some bushes to try and hide my car from anybody else who was trying to come past. The roads weren't empty. I came across another car every few minutes or so. I made a mental note that the time was 11:22 and then fell asleep. Sometime later, I was awoken by a scratching sound. I looked at the clock, 11:50. The sound stopped after a few seconds, and because I was still extremely tired, I didn't bother looking around and simply went back to sleep. I was later awoken by the same sound, and it was now 12:40. This time it really freaked me out because the sound didn't stop. The thought ran across my mind that it was just an animal inspecting the car, but why would it return almost an hour after it had left the previous time? I looked in my rearview mirror and just managed to catch a glimpse of something running away into the forest. Now at the time, I thought it was the damn hook killer. You know, the one guy that the one guy that scratched the couple's car and then slaughtered the guy when he got out to investigate. F that. I thought to myself, F that, I thought to myself, so I got the hell out of there. There was a bend no more than 100 yards up the road, and as I came around it, there was a effing car parked off to the side of the road with the driver's side door opened. I slowed down just to look and see if anyone was in there. There wasn't. Then I looked at my rear view mirror. I didn't see anything, and all of a sudden this guy comes sprinting around the corner. He starts screaming at me, shouting stuff like, Hey you, get the out of your car, now. I noped the out of there and sped off. Same, my guy. I never saw the guy again. Moral of the story, don't fucking sleep on the side of a deserted road.
Yeah.
I'm glad you learned your lesson, my guy, but like...
Bro.
Whoa. Okay, two parts in that. Like, first of all, when you look at it, it's when he looks in his rear view mirror the two times. Because the first time he saw something sprinting into the forest.
Right.
And the second time he sees another guy coming out and yelling at him to get out of his car very aggressively.
Yeah.
Like, what? This is some Buffalo Bill type of shit here. Oh my God.
Oh, I got another story. I don't know if it's spooky, but
these are all just bringing up random stories.
Yeah.
My guy. First of all, people don't. If you're tired, definitely pull over and go to sleep. Cause, yeah. But like,
do like a public space, like at a gas station or something where there's going to be people around. Like you don't want to go somewhere.
You're in the woods, man. Like,
bro, like seriously, that's like sus. It's like,
well, I guess he probably did do the best thing that he could have, because like if he did just keep driving and just fell asleep at the wheel and then just crash into a bush wherever this crazy guy was, probably would have been a little less better off. So,
but imagine, like, let's imagine if this is a dude, let's say it's me. Let's say it's me pulling over and passing out on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. Probably not as dangerous for me as like a 90-pound woman.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Like, yeah.
That would, yeah. I don't know. This is kind of freaky because I've pulled off to the side of the road to sleep before.
That's not safe.
I mean, it's safe to do that. Just make sure it's not like in this kind of area that the guy was describing. Like he was describing a scary movie.
Yeah, like seriously, like the plot of a scary movie for sure.
Or like the type of area, like a bendy road with like lots of bushes and trees around, like in the forest. Like because we're in Utah, it's a little bit easier because we're in the desert. So yeah. I mean, it's pretty wide open.
High desert, yeah, for sure.
Pretty wide open space. So
yeah, definitely if you're gonna do that, like I've done that several times, like, you know, pulling, you know, 2-3 day, you know, 12+ hour driving days. Like at some time you need to pull over and need to sleep, you know.
I remember you made a Jimmy rigged AC unit so you could sleep in the back of your truck, and it didn't work. And he's like,
oh, I was so mad.
He's like, I gotta check into a hotel. I'm like, I told you.
Yeah, I was trying to save money. It was just too hot and muggy. Like it didn't work. That was unfortunate. But shoot, there was another story I wanted to say. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you're going to sleep, like, you know, make sure it's a lot of places with lights. Like, you're going to sleep anyways because you're tired. So you might as well find, like, if I ever had to, like, there was some times where I'd pull over and I would sleep for like 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes, like just kind of slumped over in my car, like at a gas station or something, or in like a McDonald's parking lot. So it's at least a little bit public. But one time when I was living in Arizona, I was driving a delivery box van, and I had to pick up and drop off secure documents. And there was a guy that was driving super erratic. And he decided, like, I passed him because he was driving all over the road. I was just like, this guy's probably drunk. And so I went and passed him. And then he decided to speed up, go around me, and cut me off without blinking, and almost hit my van. And I had to slam on my brakes because I thought I was going to get hit. And so I went around him again. And this time, because I thought this dude's being an asshole, I flipped him off. I was just like, you're being a dick. And this guy proceeded to follow me for about 10 miles. Round through town. And like I even like passed, like I went into the complex I was supposed to go and pick up documents, and I pulled through it, and I went to another location, to a different complex, and pulled through there. Like I literally went to like 3 or 4 different places, so he didn't know where I was going, because he just kept following me. And so finally, like, pulled over. I'm just like, I really hope that this guy doesn't have a gun or a knife. Mm-hmm. And he gets out. He just starts yelling and screaming at me. And I'm just like, dude, you cut me off. Like, and I know it was stupid. Like, it was stupid. That's why I don't flip people off anymore. Because I don't know, you know, if they're going to fly off the handle and do something stupid, you know? So that's why I don't like that idea. But yeah, I was like, I'd left the doors locked, the windows rolled up. And I just waited. Like, I pulled my phone out because I'm just like, well, I'm probably going to call the police here if this guy doesn't leave soon. So luckily he didn't like try to like break my window or anything. And then finally he left and sped off or whatever. But like, yeah, those situations were sketchy.
Yeah. Roadside stories, man.
Right.
Those ones are the worst. My goodness. Yeah. Road ragers are really weird, dude. I know there was one.
I'm a road rager.
I am now scared of your wife, Jacob.
I wasn't gonna say it. I was not gonna say it.
So here's the thing.
Like I would expect,
I have to be nice to
expect
people.
Rianne to jump out of the car and start like hitting hoods and like windows and stuff with
Rianne-
her fists.
Rianne right now is like, hear me out, dude.
Seriously, this is the thing. I have to be nice to people like all the time because of my profession. Like part of my roles in the community, so I have to be nice to people like all the time, right? Which, you know, I should be nice to people all the time, but sometimes people piss me off and I need to blow off steam. And if I'm having a particularly stressful day, it just needs to be blown off a little bit more. So, sorry. So, when I'm driving and there's people that are being stupid, I will freaking yell and scream and blah, blah, to let off the steam so that when I come home, I'm not as wound up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, that's kind of... because it's a safe place for me to do it. It's not like I'm gonna confront
I know it's a very
somebody.
safe space to
No,
be.
like she would never jump out of the car and like run after people and stuff
know,
like
I'm
that.
just-
But
being
if they were to
sarcastic,
jump out and come after me, I would probably jump out and be like, "What? You want to go? Let's do this! I have got a lifetime of anger." You know what I mean? Like,
I have a lifetime of anger.
I have a lifetime of anger.
I have a lifetime of anger. It's been pent up.
so I'm just saying, I'm not afraid of confrontation when I'm driving either. So,
But it's funny too because like we'll be just driving and she'll be like, "Oh, that asshole," and I'm just like he merged lanes. He just didn't use his blinker, sweetie.
No, but people should be using their blinkers. Like,
Oh, they
come
should.
on.
Yes, I agree. But
I still get
her
pretty angry
reaction
about that.
okay,
is her
I've got a
reaction
lifetime of anger.
is just I have a certain set of skills
I will find you.
that make
that's
people
my
like
new
you
quote. That's
be
my
afraid
new
of
quote.
me.
Have a lifetime of anger.
I will find you.
But I will say, since I've been working on my little NLP thing, it's not that low. But since I've been doing NLP, my road rage is very minimal. Like, it's not as bad as it used to be at all.
See, my road rage is just like driving behind someone that's very, very slow and being like, and then stereotyping them. And then pulling up around them and being like,
Yep.
you're old. I knew it. I know.
You want to hear my thought process? What happens when it?
Yes.
So let's say like I'm riding in the right lane, and somebody pulls out too early, and so I have to slam on my brakes to avoid from hitting this person because they decided to they decided to go, "I'm taking risks today, and I'm like, not today, Satan." So I slam my brakes. I'm like, "Oh, what a jackass!" And then I go, maybe they're having a bad day. And then I'm like, yeah, but they still shouldn't. Yeah, but maybe something happened. Maybe somebody died and they, they're just having a day where they're just not like focused on what they should be focusing when they're driving. And because they're distracted, they don't realize. And so they make stupid decisions.
Oh my gosh.
And then sometimes I go and pass the person. I go, I knew it was going to be a woman.
Excuse me? Okay, so this is really funny. So my mom came down
All
for the
jokes,
gala,
Yeah.
right? And she went and stayed. So she went and watched conference with my aunt, who's like 7 years older than her and everything. Anyway, so she lives in Santa Clara, and they spent like a good 4 or 5 days together. And then after the gala, like the morning after, she's like, I'm just ready to go home. And I'm like, okay. She's like, I can't drive with Cheryl anymore. She drives like so slow. And keep in mind, my mom's like in her late 60s. You know what I mean? So it's not like she's that young either.
She's not that fast of a driver
But-
either, but
don't even. I can't drive with my mom.
oh my
She says that about my aunt, but I can't drive with my mom because she's one of those. that will speed, but then she's sometimes totally oblivious to other people on the road, and she'll just like cut people off, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, mom.
Oh, talk about that creepy guy that followed us out after we tried to look at fifth wheels.
Oh my gosh, that was the creepiest thing. Okay, that was one of the creepiest things I've experienced in a minute. It was really creepy.
What's the story?
So for my birthday, Jacob's like, hey, I have all these things that you can choose that I will go do with you, or that we can go do, which is saying a lot because he doesn't like to go out and do stuff.
I don't.
Like,
unless it's like vacationing, like being gone for several days.
He doesn't even when we're on vacation, he's like, I just want to lay in bed and sleep. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we can do that at home. Why do we have to pay to lay and sleep? We can lay and sleep at home. Let's like experience stuff. Okay, sorry, side tangent, squirrel. Sorry. Anyway, so for my birthday, he went and did stuff with me without complaining. It was the most beautiful thing in the world. It was the best birthday present.
You're welcome.
Because he just was there and didn't complain.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Anyway, so we went down to St. George because it was on Labor Day.
Yeah. So everybody's having sales.
Well, but like some places weren't open in Cedar, so we drove down to St. George. And we went to the RV world or whatever. And they have all of the RVs like in a fence. And the only way you can get to them is to go through the sales office.
Yeah.
And they have you wait there.
Until they pair you up with a salesperson.
Then they pair you up with a salesperson. I'm like, we're just looking. We're not interested in buying. We're just looking because we were trying to see if we could find a trailer that our Ascent could pull. And so we get paired up with this guy. He's older. And
he was probably in his 70s, I'd probably say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. But he was kind of just, I don't know, not all
hey,
there.
what you looking for? What's your budget? What you looking to pay? And we're just like, we just came to like look.
And so I said, we got like 2,500, and he's like, okay, well, here's these. So then we get up into one of these campers to look, and it's like one of the small ones because we're looking at what our thing can pull. And he steps in and blocks the door, like the only entrance out. So like we're trapped in this camper.
That's weird.
And he's asking questions.
It's 110 outside.
It's like, yeah. So I'm like, and I start feeling claustrophobic because he's feeling like his energy was just super aggressive, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you. And I go, do you have any others? He's like, no, I think this is it. I'm like, okay, thanks. He's like, well, what's your budget? And I'm like, we're not buying today. He's like, well, yeah, you say that, but what's your budget? Like, what are you looking for? And all this stuff. And I'm like, we're not buying today. And he's like, okay, well, why don't you something? And he just kept getting pushy. Why don't we come inside
and sit down and I can show you some.
Yeah, and he just was getting super, super pushy. And I'm like, hey, well, we're going to go. We got some other stuff planned.
See, at that point, I would have just pushed him, just like, let me out of here. Like,
well, so like he finally let us out. We were walking in and like we were in the lobby, and he was trying to keep us out, and I was just walking and walking, and he kept pushing and pushing. And then I was like, all right, I'm done being polite. I'm just leaving.
Yeah, she just got up and started walking. I'm like, oh. He goes, where's she going? I'm like, oh, I guess we're done. So
and so I started walking out. So I started walking out. Jacob walking behind me, he starts laughing, and then the guy walks out right behind us. And we're walking. He's like, I'm not following you guys. I'm just taking a walk. And we're like,
okay, well, you're being sketchy anyway. Like,
kept following us.
Yeah, what's the tow package on your car?
Like way out.
Like he started asking us more questions.
And he was following us to the car, and he kept talking to Jacob, and the more he started talking, the more I was like, because it felt so like, aggressively desperate or something. It was not good. It was not a good feel, right? And I was like, that was creepy. And Jacob, how much did I actually talk about it after the fact? Because it impacted me so much.
Quite a while, yeah.
Like up to an hour and a half later, I was like, oh, that just creeped me out. Creeped me out.
Yeah. It wasn't until we got to dinner that you're just like, okay, I'm done with this.
Well, it's because we had some wine.
Yeah, we did. We shared a bottle of wine. We ate at the
I would need a drink after that. Are you kidding me?
The
I did.
What was it called? Red Fort or something like that?
Yeah, Red Fort, the Indian restaurant.
Indian restaurant in St. George. So good. And you're in and out of there in like so fast.
They're pretty efficient.
Yeah. But that was super creepy.
Well, I'm glad you guys are both okay.
Yeah. Well,
Me
it's
too.
not like I was worried he was gonna.
Oh yeah, I was.
Let's be real. Jacob probably would have lifted him up and then drop kicked him.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, it wasn't his physical. It wasn't his physicality that was creeping me out. It was his energy and like how it was like you know what I mean?
The whole blocking us inside, and we could look in, and we're just like, oh, okay, there's some things in here. Okay, that's pretty cool.
That's uncomfortable.
All right, we want to get out, and he's standing at the doorway, and he's asking us questions and telling us, and we're just like,
yeah, no, that's read the room, bro.
Well,
let me out of here.
It was just like, it was the weirdest thing because normally I'm like fairly decent and stuff, but like after I said,
and we've been around a lot of sales reps that have been super pushy, like in the past,
yeah.
And I'm like, you have lost the sell. We are walking out the door. That is a clear indication. Yeah. And I flat out said, no, we're not buying today.
Several times,
and he kept
even
going.
I said it too.
Yeah,
it's just like, no, we're not. We just. It's my wife's birthday. We just wanted to come out and check out, for fun.
And like,
we'll never go there again.
Where was this?
This is Camper World in St. George.
Huh.
So it's by the Nate Wade Auto Complex.
Yeah.
It's kind of within that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sketchy.
It was not super. I don't know if it was Camper World or if it was another. It was like the RV Mall or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was just not
cool.
Not at all.
Not cool.
That's a huge turn off. Like, especially if you're going to be like continuing to, if you're keeping me in a very warm trailer, like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was well over 100 degrees. Like, and these trailers have been sitting in the sun, and we were even in the shade, and it was like, okay, it's like 110 degrees in here. We need to leave.
Yeah, for me, it's gonna be like you have 3 chances, and by that 3rd chance, if you're not moving, then I'm pushing you. Like, I will probably feel claustrophobic enough where I will be like, okay, no, and not like physically, but like emotionally, if I have someone keeping me and blocking me, like, I'm like, No, I do not like the vibe that you were keeping me in here.
Right. Because he's trying, not only is he doing it with his aggressive energy and everything, but he's utilizing his body. And that just was like, nope.
Yep. That's when it's just like, all right, time to start pushing people out of the way.
Yeah. We were literally there maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20.
Inside of it?
No,
just
like
in
overall.
Oh, okay,
like from
gotcha.
when we walked in the door to when we walked out. Probably less than 20 minutes, I'd probably say. Like, yeah.
No, it was about 20 minutes.
It was not a good vibe. But I'm just saying, like, if they were just like, oh, yeah, go ahead and go browse around and enjoy it and, let us know if you have any questions, we probably would have been there an hour.
Yeah, but it bugged me so bad.
Anyway. You got another story for us?
Yeah, you guys want to hear another one?
Yes.
Okay, all right. This one's from Are You Serious? Again, 8 years ago. That's punny, Ari.
That's very punny.
Gotta take a sip of water.
Absolutely.
Is that your phone, Jacob?
You know what's funny is like he's had that same text tone for the last like 5 years.
I know, I hate it.
Yeah.
Anytime that he and I were on a job together and I hear that ringtone, I'm like, that's Jacob.
No, the one I had was the.
No, Alec had a story.
No, I was just saying I had a different ringtone.
Text
it was
tone,
the.
Oh.
That was for when we got jobs.
That was when we got jobs, yeah.
Mine was like I think it was like a cash register because I wanted to associate getting jobs with money. So
that's smart, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
And now the sound of a cash register kind of triggers me a little bit.
Yeah.
It depending on who the sales rep was. But anyways.
No, like that sound though, when like it's like the news.
I hate that.
When I hear somebody else's phone go, I'm like, oh my god, I better not have just gotten a job. And then I go, wait a minute, I haven't worked for them for 3 years.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Anytime I hear a cash register,
it's like It's so
So
funny
that's
that
your
those
guys' scary,
triggers.
creepy story.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
Just
so.
being triggered by
Just the trauma from Vivint.
working for Vivint.
Yeah.
Excuse me, gonna move my. There we go. Okay, are you serious? Okay, a few summers ago, I went for a bike ride around midnight with a friend. That's smart, Ari. We went for we went our separate ways at the end of the evening, and I had about 2 blocks of a ride back myself. Because of construction, I had to ride on the sidewalk, but the streets were dead. But it wasn't a problem until right where I was about to turn left onto my street, there was this man walking by himself, maybe 40s, a little scruffy, but not homeless. The sidewalk was narrow and I didn't want to freak him out, so when I got about 6 feet behind him, I said, "Hey, behind you," and he turned around and gave me the super angry look. I turned down my street and he started to follow me, literally screaming about how I was a effing C-word. Nice. And he was going to kill me and all that. I live right off the corner and I didn't want him to figure that out, so I decided to do another loop around the block. That's not the scary part. The scary part is that when I looped back around and looked down the street, I saw him standing on my effing front stoop, staring out at the street like the mother effer knew I lived there. He saw me ride by again, but he didn't say anything. I ended up going back to the friends, but my bike got stolen from the alleyway by the house 2 days later. Edit. The guy in question was definitely not actually homeless. We have a large population of mentally ill in that area, unfortunately. Downtown of a medium-sized city. So if I didn't think the sidewalk was too narrow to pass otherwise, I wouldn't have disturbed him. Half the scary part was that he looked pretty much completely normal for my area. That being said, I ended up texting my mom and she made the decision not to notify law enforcement until my bike was stolen. That's not as scary, but like...
No, that's not as scary. It's
Still, I think it's the part where like you're riding around the block trying to lose him, and then you come around again, and
he's on your
see him
doorstep.
like, homie, how do you know where I live? How?
Yeah.
That's scary.
That is
that part's kind of freaky.
Oh, I have another story.
All these stories are bringing up past stories for you, Jacob.
Yeah.
What you got?
It's like you forget him until like you hear another story and go,
Yeah, exactly.
I remember this one time.
I'm the same way, yeah.
Memories are weird, man. Our brains are very interesting. So I had been, this was like when we first moved in. I was like, it's been like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. I've been like walking the dogs like every couple of days. And I go through the complex that's right next to us, and that complex has like a little kind of like park. And so we would go up through the park, and then I would turn out of the park, up the street, you know, for like maybe a half a block, and then out again. So, and I'm always a very good dog owner. I always pick up after my dogs. And I've been doing this for literally like 3 or 4 months. And so I was walking my dogs today, or that day, excuse me, not today. This was like a year ago or 2 years ago. And so I was walking my dogs.
Concept of time.
Oh, I remember this.
I know.
Story.
Yeah. So I'm walking my dogs, right? And they're doing their business, you know, they're pissing, whatever. And I pick up the poop after them and everything.
You pick up your
and
poop or the dog's poop?
the dog's poop. So I have a bag of poop in my hand, right? And all of a sudden this guy walks up to me after I pass the park, and he's just like, "Who are you?" And I'm just like, "Oh, hey, I'm just my name's Jake. I'm just walking my dogs." He's like, "Where do you live?" And I'm like, "That's none of your business. I'm just walking my dogs." He's like, "Well, if you don't live here, you're trespassing. You need to leave." And I'm like, "Okay, that's great. I'm just finishing walking my dogs. I'm heading to the exit." And I put my headphones back on, and this guy starts walking with me. I'd probably say he was in his, you know, late 60s, early 70s. And he's just like, "Hey, you're not allowed to be here." And I'm just like, "Okay, that's great. I won't come back again. I'm heading to the exit. I'm going to leave." And he goes to grab my arm. He grabbed my arm and tried to pull me the other direction. And I balled my fist up and I, you know, yanked my arm out of his. And I said, "Sir, do not touch me again. And he goes, you're not allowed to be here. I'm calling the cops. I'm like, go ahead. I'm going to be gone by the time they get here. I told you I'm leaving. And honestly, I'm not coming back. Like, that's perfectly fine. And so he's walking along with me, pointing out, oh, there goes your dogs. They're pissing. They're not allowed to do that. And I'm just like, they're dogs. They're going to do that wherever they go. And so he calls over he said it was one of his employees. And so he walks along with him. So I got the 70-year-old in tow with another guy behind him. He's probably in his 20s. Like, he's probably, Alakai's age. And I'm like, well, who are you? Where do you live? He's like, well, that's none of your business. And I'm like, dude, like, why are you talking to me? I'm like, and so finally, like, I get to the end and I leave and I'm just like, this is so stupid. So I'd never gone back there again. Because if like I told myself, if I saw that guy again, I'm like, I'm going to freaking deck him.
What a Richard.
Honestly, I should have done it. Like, as soon as he grabbed my arm, I should have turned around and just, like,
babe,
one easy clock to his face. And that's the thing about old people. They're like toddlers. Have you ever seen an old person fall? Like, they're going to hit their head. They're going to die. Like,
I don't care how old you are. If you're
Jacob,
going to put your hands on me without my consent like that, like,
yeah, you don't
you're
touch
warranting
people.
For
I don't care if I'm trespassing on private property. You don't grab somebody. Like, you just don't. Like, you don't do it.
If I'm not doing any harm to you, then, like, don't put your hands on me.
And it's not like it's a gated community that's locked. Like there's no business for him to even do that. I was doing no harm. I picked up all of my dog poop. Like, it was a walk that we did every day for months.
No signs or anything.
No, well, there was a sign that says no trespassing, but anyway, I digress. So I saw him later because I started delivering packages. I know exactly where he lives. And I was like, I've never egged somebody's house before.
No,
but this would be really fun to egg his house.
Just get a bag of poop and leave it on his doorstep.
And light it on fire. Yeah. I thought about it. I did think about it, but I was like, no, I need to be the bigger person here. And I've seen him several times. I've delivered to him too. And I was just like, hello, sir. How are you doing? And he is such a rich. He's anyway,
for people that aren't watching, for people that are listening and not watching Jacob's face.
Who's it for? Like, I don't know. I just know it's for this address. Could you please sign?
Sounded like a guy I know named Donald for a second.
Who's it for? Oh, I love the people. I love delivering to people. In fact, people say that I'm the best delivery person for people.
Why? No.
That was a terrible.
No.
That's actually not a bad one.
Anyways,
we do not want to encourage that.
Yeah, and like there's been a couple of times when Rhiannon and I would be like out and about and stuff, and there'd just be like, like little man complexes, people that, are shorter, like a good head shorter than me, but they go to the gym, so they think they're all badasses, and so they're with their girlfriend. They feel like they need to like, poke at me, and because I don't know if it's because I look intimidating or because I'm tall or because I'm big. I mean, I don't really know what it is. Or just because they kind of have the idea that, well, I bet I could poke at this guy a little bit and I bet he wouldn't do anything. I know we've had some of those opportunities. Rand probably remember those better than I do, but I'm just
not right now. I just got notification that my sweatshirt got in.
Oh, good for you.
Yay. It's a sweatshirt.
All right, you got one more?
Has me and Boomer and Starbucks.
Oh.
So
we weren't going to talk about that.
I know, but I'm excited for my sweatshirt. So as soon as we're done, I'm going to go out to the mailbox.
Okay.
Okay, well, I do have one more story, and then we can leave it from there.
Okay.
All right.
Hit it.
So this one is out of my territory. I haven't read this one yet. We're going to be scrolling down quite a bit. So
we are? Where are we at?
Arthur C. It's about like 5 or 6 down. It starts with okay, this happened to me last summer.
There's can you say throwaway 19? I love some of these names. What was the beginning again?
Okay, so this happened to me last summer.
Okay, this happened to me Okay, from Arthur C.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so this happened to me last summer when I was back at my parents' house during the holidays. It was around 3 a.m., the witching hour, and I was in my room on my computer when I got a call from my sister. Now, that was already a little bit weird since my sister's room is just down the hallway from mine, and she could have just came into my room. I went to pick up, and the call ended as soon as I reached the phone. I figured that she wanted to speak with me, so I got up and went to her room. As soon as I reached her door, she started screaming that someone was in the room with her. So I busted in, and of course, nobody was there. After she stopped crying, she told me that she woke up and saw a dark shadow just centimeters from her face, and that's when she screamed.
What the fuck?
Ew. So I told her that she called me. She told me that her phone is not in her room and that she was sleeping. Sure enough, her phone is actually downstairs in her purse. The weird part is that I have the log of her call on my phone, but she doesn't. Never managed to explain this one. What?
That is pretty creepy.
That's so weird.
That is weird.
What? Your phone is haunted, bro. Dang.
It's that little girl that calls you after you watch the tape.
That's weird.
Die in 7 days.
That is so wacky.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there's been times where I've called Rianne and I have it on my phone and she doesn't receive the call at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just
Yeah, but that's you.
Normal.
That's not you receiving a phone call from me and panic.
I actually always
Freaking
panic when you call me. No, I'm just kidding. I go, what did I do now? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
There is a really long one on here that I haven't read either.
Yeah.
No, we won't. We've been on here for what, an hour and a half now? Or
Yeah. About an hour 15.
Hour 15, yeah. Yeah, I wanted Rianne to get her nice hoodie now, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do love my hoodie. I'm excited.
You excited?
I'm excited.
That's good.
Yeah.
This feels weird. Usually the dogs are wrestling at this point in time.
No, yeah.
Here and there.
He's just chilling. Babe, we really got to think about getting a buddy for him so he's not lonely.
Maybe. We'll have to talk about it. She's shaking her head yes, and I'm like...
She's looking at me, and I'm like...
My wife is telling me yes, but my husband is telling me no.
I'm like, it's going to happen.
We'll have to talk about it.
Need I remind you of how we got Starbuck and how we got bunnies?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that story. Well, the Starbuck thing was I was all in on, but
no, you
the
weren't.
bunny things I was not. I was not having bunnies. And then they got out, then they terrorized the neighborhood, and then we moved. We just left them because we couldn't find them. We're like, hey, if any of your kids catch them, we'll give them $20, and they never caught them. So,
dang.
Yeah, they were eating people's like gardens and like foliage and stuff. They had dug a bunch of holes and dug. Yeah, they're just
those damn rabbits.
Yeah, they were jerks.
I'm hunting rabbits.
It's wabbit season. I'm really good at shooting bunnies. People say I'm the best.
Wait, stop. No.
Okay, okay.
No.
Any final thoughts?
No, just
creepy, spooky things.
Just don't go places that you shouldn't, and if you do, make sure you're not alone, and have pepper spray if you need it.
And tell those spirits to stay.
There's a shit ton of creepers out there, so watch your back.
Also, be safe on Halloween. Legit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, don't get too drunk, yo. Stupid shit happens.
It's on a
drunk.
It's on a Monday.
Drunk.
It's on a Monday night this year. Like,
yeah, people won't be able to get too drunk on Monday night.
Yeah,
or they're just so young that they're used to it and they'll get through it. They'll just ride
that
it.
too. Yeah.
They'll just raw dog it the next day.
Raw dog it.
I I can't hear that stuff. I can't. I just.
That's a
What,
funny
raw
story.
dog?
I don't know why. Why are we talking about that?
What, raw dogging?
Yeah, don't. No. Like.
Some people don't like the word moist.
No, God!
Some people don't like the word guacamole. Rianne's least favorite word is raw dog.
And moist. Yeah, no.
And on that
Oh,
note,
moist raw dog.
Okay, and I'm out.
and from our family to yours, good night.
Good night, you moist raw dogs.
Good night.
Jeez.
Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. If we earned your subscription today, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to like this video, share it with family and friends, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. Send all of your topic ideas, articles, and video links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. All of our links are in the description down below.